Did that silence just make you uncomfortable? Be honest. Did you check your phone to see if the audio cut out? Did your thumb twitch? Did your brain physically itch for the noise to come back? That itch is the most dangerous thing in your leadership toolkit. We live in a world that worships the grind. We tell ourselves we're busy because we're important, or we're important because we're busy. We tell ourselves the calendar is full because the mission is critical. We wear our exhaustion like a medal of honor, proving to the world that we matter. But what if I told you that your busyness is not productivity? What if I told you that it's just an aesthetic? What if the reason you cannot stop moving is not because you have too much to do, but because you're terrified of what you would hear if you stopped? What if that constant motion is actually a trauma response, a form of hypervigilance designed to keep you from feeling the weight of your own life? Today, we are moving beyond the surface level of time management and productivity hacks. We are going to talk about the physics of your attention and the biology of your burnout. We are going to explore the neuroscience of why you are addicted to speed, why the grind is biologically destroying your ability to lead, and why the most strategic move you can make this week, perhaps the only one move that will actually change your future, is to do absolutely nothing. Let's experiment. Welcome back to the H2H experiment. I am João, and I'm so happy to have you here with me once again. Let's get straight to the neuroscience, because we need to demystify why you feel tired but wired. This is not a personality flaw. It is a biological mechanism. Your brain has two primary opposing operating systems. They are like two different muscles that cannot flex at the same time. System 1 is the task positive network, TPN. This is the get shit done kind of network. It activates when you answer emails, check boxes, crunch numbers, and solve immediate tactical problems. It is highly focused, linear, and analytical, and crucially, it rewards you. Every time you clear a notification or finish a task, the TPN triggers a hit of dopamine. It feels good to be busy. It feels like progress. System 2, on the other hand, is the default mode network, DMN. This is the network that activates when you are doing nothing, when you are daydreaming, when you are staring out a train window, watching the world go by. In our culture, we call this zoning out or wasting time. But neuroscience tells us something very different. The DMN is the only place where complex problem solving, empathy, moral reasoning, and long-term vision happen. It is where your brain connects disparate dots to create innovation. It's where you process your values. Here's the catch. It is a massive one for leaders. These networks are mutually exclusive. They function like a seesaw. When the task network goes up, the vision network goes down. You literally cannot be in both at the same time. So, think about your average Tuesday. When you pride yourself on back-to-back meetings, when you answer emails at dinner, when you listen to podcasts at 2x speed while brushing your teeth, you are keeping your task-positive network locked in the on position. You are chemically addicted to the dopamine of the immediate, but the cost is high. You are biologically locking yourself out of the part of your brain that actually leads. You are becoming a high-speed bureaucrat, efficient at clearing the path, but blind to where the path is actually going. You are trading your vision for velocity. Now let's go deeper. Let's look at the H2H layer, the human experience underneath the brain scan. If the default mode network is so good for us, if it's the source of our genius and our empathy, why do we avoid it like the plague? Why do we panic when the Wi-Fi goes down on a flight? Why do we scroll through social media the microsecond we step into an elevator? Because the default mode network has a dark side. When you stop doing, you start feeling. The DMN is also the seat of self-reflection. The silence is where the questions live. The questions we run away from. Am I on the right path? Is this strategy actually working, or am I just shuffling papers? Am I happy? Is this relationship sustainable? Those are scary questions. They carry weight. They demand change. So we choose the noise. We unconsciously choose the dopamine of the task network to numb the anxiety of the default network. We use urgency as a shield against reality. Psychologically, this is often a trauma response. It is hypervigilance. If I keep moving, I am safe. If I keep controlling the small things, I don't have to face the big things I cannot control. I call this the motion trap. You are moving so fast that you feel like you are making progress, but you're really just vibrating in place. You are burning fuel, but you aren't changing coordinates. But hey, it's not just you. We have to acknowledge the environment. Most organizations today are designed to reward the task positive network and punish the default mode network. We confuse responsiveness with responsibility. We celebrate the person who replies to Slack at 10 p.m. We promote the manager who is always on. We view a calendar with white space as a sign of underutilization. But this is a fundamental misunderstanding of value. In the knowledge economy, your value is not your speed. Your value is your discernment. If you're replying instantly to everything, you are thinking deeply about absolutely nothing. A leader who is addicted to urgency creates a team that is addicted to anxiety. You train your people that fast is better than right. You train them that silence is dangerous. And slowly, you create a culture of performative busyness, where everyone is running sprints in a circle, exhausted, burning out, but terrified to stop because stopping looks like quitting. Now, I'd like to ground you in a real story, not mine this time, even though I do have some story about this topic as well. I remember talking to a friend who is also a CEO. Let's call him David. David was a machine. He was the poster child for modern success. 5 a.m. club, inbox zero, every minute optimized. He listened to audiobooks on 2.5x speed because normal speed was too slow. But his company was stalling. They hadn't launched a truly new idea in 3 years. They were losing market share to a competitor who moved slower but thought deeper. I gave David a challenge. I said, David, I want you to schedule 1 hour this week. No phone, no laptop, no notebook, no agenda. Just sit in a chair in your office and look out the window. He laughed. He actually scoffed and said, I can't afford that. I have investors. I have a team. That's just irresponsible. And I said, David, look at your numbers. Your responsibility is not working. You can't afford not to do it. He tried it. He lasted 12 minutes. He told me later, I felt like my skin was burning. I felt like the building was going to collapse if I didn't check my email. I felt useless. That wasn't passion, folks. That was withdrawal. David was not leading his company. He was feeding his addiction to validation. He was using the noise to prove he existed. But he stuck with it. Week after week, he forced himself to sit in the silence. And do you know what happened? Once he broke the addiction, once he learned to tolerate the silence, the fog cleared. He realized his entire product roadmap was wrong. He realized he had been optimizing a product that the market no longer wanted. He saved his company not by working harder, but by stopping long enough to see the truth. There is a famous quote attributed to Viktor Frankl, the psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. Some philosophers call this space the famous free will. Most leaders have lost that space. Stimulus reaction, email reply, problem fix, crisis panic. When there is no space, there is no leadership. There is only reflex. Leadership is the art of the pause. It is the ability to widen the gap between the stimulus and the response. It is the pause before you answer the angry question, allowing your prefrontal cortex to come online. Otherwise, you just respond using your unconscious. It is the pause before you send that email. You know, that angry email? It is the white space on the calendar where you ask, what are we actually doing here? Does this matter? If you are constantly reacting, you are just noise. You are just an echo of the chaos around you. So, my favorite time of the podcast. Here's the experiment of the week. It sounds simple. I promise you, it will be the hardest thing you will do this week. It will be harder than your board meeting. I want you to book a 15-minute meeting with yourself every day for the next 5 days. Title it White Space. That's the name of this experiment, by the way. Make it a recurring invite. Protect it like it's a meeting with your biggest client. And here are the rules. No tech. Phone in another room. Laptop closed. Smartwatch off. No input. No podcast, no music, no books, no reading, no output, no writing, no to-do lists. Just be. You can sit, you can walk, you can stare at a wall. And here's what will happen. Phase 1. From the beginning to minute 5, the agitation. Your brain will scream at you. You will remember 10 urgent things you need to do. You will feel guilty. You will feel bored. Push through this. You can do it. Phase 2, from minutes 5 to 10, more or less, the decompression. The noise will start to settle. Your shoulders might drop. The itch will fade. Phase 3, from minutes 10 to 15, more or less. I call it the arrival. This is where the magic happens. A thought will flow up. A solution to a problem you've been stuck on. A realization about a team member. A sudden clarity on a strategy. When the noise stops, the signal returns. All right, now let's wrap up this episode. You don't need more time. You need more stillness. You don't need more apps. You need more nerve. We have convinced ourselves that doing is the only metric of being. But that is a lie that's keeping us small. Stop hiding in the grind. Turn off the noise and see who is actually leading the ship. This is the H2H experiment. Thank you so much for listening. See you next time in the silence. Bye.